Hello, listeners. This is Unlock LSAT, and this is the key. And today I'm talking about getting rid of the wing it mentality. That's what I'm calling this one. I'm not sure if I'm going to actually call the title that, but essentially that's what I want to discuss in this one. So, when I talk about wing it mentality, and I have not Googled this term, I don't know if it's things people say, or I don't know if it's an existing term, but I do know that we often refer to this idea of winging it. So I think that I've had the wing it mentality, and I'm not going to go into too much of what happened to me, but essentially, for me, wing it mentality is like, you know that you're smart or intelligent to some degree, right? And perhaps for undergrad and maybe even high school, you didn't really work too hard to get through. It's not that you didn't try, but you just did what you needed to do just enough to get through and succeed to some degree. And you were able to get a degree or two. But then when it comes to law school, this is a completely different ballgame. Completely. And while I'm talking about this, there are people that because of what they've studied, they take the LSAT and they don't really even have to try. They just automatically knock out some higher score. Like I've literally heard people getting like in the high 170s without even studying because of what they've learned prior. So that's not necessarily someone who's winging it, but that person might be going in with a little bit too much confidence about how the rest of the journey will be, based on being able to finish this entrance exam and excel right away without even trying. So someone like that would be potentially at a disadvantage just in general. So going back over to why this period between deciding you want to go to law school and then when you actually start law school is so important is because the bar is so much higher, especially when you're at a lower tier school. And I'm going to talk about that in another episode. But yeah, when you're at a lower tier school, you have to work even harder to some degree than at the upper level schools. And like I've said before, it's not that it's easier, but you do have to do more because oftentimes they're running things on a curve. And I'll talk about why they have these curves in another episode. So the test, the LSAT test, it is providing you an opportunity to correct your mindset and your habits. If you're that type of person that has just been doing exceptionally well to some degree without even trying, and you just get through, you get your B's or your A's, and you feel pretty good, and you get your degree or your 2 degrees, and then you say, oh, well, I guess I could do another degree. So what I really invite people to do is, like, whenever you decide you're going to go to law school, don't just barely try to just get your foot in the door. I think this type of mindset is especially prevalent when it comes to minorities, especially African American people, because of the lower LSAT scores that we tend to end up being in when it comes to this atmosphere. So unfortunately, when people like us, and yeah, I'm putting us in a box, but yeah, people like us in a way, when we're seeing these 140s, sometimes it's like, oh well, I guess this is about where we're landing, and it seems like only a small group of us tend to get higher scores. So that's kind of why I think a lot of us try to just accept this type of mediocre um, score range, especially in that 140 to 150 range, where a lot of the time we're not even trying to get in the 150s. But I think I have seen, or maybe I've just been around people that have shown me a different side of things, but I've slowly begun to see or be exposed to the people who are minorities, African Americans, but are getting those higher scores. And when I see that, it just makes me feel so good to see people defying those odds that seem to be the statistic for African Americans, especially, that we're just ending up just staying in the 140s, going into law school, possibly graduating or almost graduating, or not getting past the first semester. So yeah, and I would definitely say that I think um, African Americans especially are not choosing a wing it mentality. It's just the fact that it just seems like a lot more impossible for us. So yeah, bringing this back up to the general sphere, the test presents an opportunity to set yourself up for better success down the line. So I'd recommend give yourself a good amount of time to prepare. At least do us a favor and try to bump your score at least into the 150s. And then, if you feel so inclined, keep going forward, keep pushing forward, especially if it's been turning out like, oh, you've been seeing increases, you know your things, you could teach people how to do it. I think you should keep on going through. If it's coming naturally to you, especially if you've been studying, you've been seeing your practice tests increase, definitely keep showing up, showing out. We need those people to do that. Yeah. So once we have this corrected mindset of, not doing just enough to get in, because that's where those lower tier schools are snatching up, especially, well, they used to, especially the minorities. They'll like to snatch up the people in the 140s, and then they can say that they have a more diverse group of people. But that's not nice when these people don't even get past the 1L year for one reason or the other. So going ahead and making sure to get used to doing a lot of reading, doing a lot of consistent studying, trying new approaches, new strategies, working on your critical thinking, working on your logic skills. Like literally, that's what they're testing here. And look at it from that aspect. We need to stop talking about it as the standardized test, as a blockage, and just talk and think about it as a place to refine our reading and analysis skills, so that once law school comes around, you're not on a list to be cut out at the end of the first semester because you came in with a lower than average LSAT score. And yeah, that's going to wrap this up. I did want to talk about the diversity in there, but hopefully a lot of people could find something from this. All right, take care, guys.